Adab, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the 22nd edition of 365 Days of Tabla. In this journey, we learned the art, the craft, and the history of the instrument that we so love in the door. Today, we are going to start off with a new Kaida. And also, in a previous episode, we had discussed why is it important to introduce our children to tabla. So today, this class is a two-parter. One for us, and the other one is for our little ones. Before we start with our little ones, before we introduce tabla to our little ones, do understand this, that it is very much important. You play a very vital role, as a matter of fact, a complete catalyst in transferring this information to your child. Also, a child imitates whatever he sees. So, we also have to play tabla or imitate the Bols so that our child learns. For children, it is important not to seek for perfection. In the initial episodes, in the initial lessons, we would only want them to get interested in this instrument. Once the interest is developed, then we can introduce perfection. But before that, our goal is just to make our children interested in the instrument. Okay? So now let's start for us. So the first, so Kaida number 3 is also from Delhi Gharana. The Bols of this Kaida are as follow. Dha dha te te dha dha tu na. I'll repeat it again. Dha dha te te dha dha tu na. And the Mundi part will be ta ta te te dha dha tu na. Again, ta ta te te dha dha tu na. So now let's play. We already know how to produce Tete. So now let's play this bowl without the metronome. Okay, let's recite while we play. A na ye ch da na tu na ta sa si hi da la tu na. Great. Let's do it one more time. Da te da da tu na. And the Mundi? A ta se te a na tu na. Great. Now let's play on a metronome. By the way, we know why metronome is important, why we are playing in a metronome, because timing is an extremely important part, an integral part in learning tabla. Also, timing increases our attention span. So, timing is very important. let's learn how to make our little ones play this instrument. First of all, the technique to make our little ones play the instrument is very different from the technique that we are using to play the instrument. Let them bang. Place the tabla in a manner which is comfortable for them. If they want, let them, if it's too high, it will be difficult for them to play. So you can ask them to sit on a cushion when they play tabla, and after that ask them to bang the tabla in this way. This is dha for our little one. Both hands together. Dha. Tuna. Now, tuna is tuna. You can, if you want, you can also tell them that it's like a wave, how waves are. So you just imitate a wave on tabla. Simple. Okay? Dha, ha, dha, tuna. Now, the mundi part. Ask them to cover this. Cover the baya. Ta, ta, te. Okay? Then dha, dha. Dha, tha, tu, ta. Great. So, what have you learned? Dha, dha, te, te, ha, ha, tuna. Ta, ta, te, te, ha, ha, tuna. So this is Kaida number 1 for our little ones as well as for us ourselves. There's just one important note that I would like to share with you before ending this episode. When we ask our child to play tabla or introduce our child to this instrument, children are basically, they cannot sit at one place for a longer period of time. But children are naturally very inquisitive. They want to know. So I know it has a fear, there is a fear of breaking the tabla, but I would request you to keep the tabla open so that the child can come and play. And when the child plays, you can entice him to play the bowl normally, and you can report it with a small sweet or something that he likes, like a toffee or something, after the completion of the bowl. That way, the child would think that if he practices, he would get a reward. And this reward system will help the child to actually get interested in tabla. Once he gets interested, then the reward system doesn't really matter. Even if the child doesn't get a reward, that won't matter because he's interested in the music. So, with this, let's end today's episode. See you tomorrow.